some people who experienced that squeeze cycle in 2021, and they might also compare what's going on this year and last year, and I feel like, I mean, this is just my thoughts, but I think we are in a very unique cycle where the big tech stocks such as SPY, S&P 500, and then the entire crypto market will tank. They're in a bear cycle. Like not the altcoin, but I mean they're gonna have a pullback because Bitcoin is a bear cycle. But the meme stocks are a bull cycle, like starting of the squeeze season. So I think we are in a very extraordinary, very unique a situation, right? We're in a very unique cycle. This is, I don't think this is very typical. But so that's kind of my thoughts, and I thought in 2021, I wanted to, maybe I want to bring this up just to make things a little bit easier. So I think starting July 1st, because I've been thinking about July 1st, right? July. And I actually thought about this one, how in 2021, as I mentioned here, the 2021 squeeze phase ended right on T+7, right? Trading days, T+7 from OPEX date, right? So I think this is something that people who experienced in 2021, right? And then I thought, wait a minute, right? So June OPEX was a huge week, right? And then it ended. There's no movement, right? The interesting thing here is here's another thing. Last year when RK came back, the gamma squeeze was created, and then everything exploded on that week, right? May OPEX week. Okay. So when you think about it, in 2021, let's walk you through to 2021, right? Let's go back to 2021. We are in a January, right? Imagine that. The January OPEX date was January 15. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this up here. So I'm gonna take you to 2021. We gotta go back to the history, because people kind of say like, hey, things are not lining up, and I'm pushing shit like that. I'm not pushing. Market makers are the one that controlling the stock market, not me. I'm just trying to figure this out, man. It's not easy. I think this year is not really. Easy market. But anyway, 2021. Everyone put money, they make money. It was the easiest market, right? Like, it's a bull run. Fed prints money, algo run fast. You put some money, you make a lot of gains. Not this year, okay? This year is opposite. There's no money, liquidity is dried out. Algo is drying out too. Algo is extremely slow. And there's a lot of fears in the market now, politically, everything. But anyway, let's go back and June. Let me walk you through to 2021. So June OPEX was Jan 15. You have to exclude the holiday, so you don't count the holiday, right? So from 19, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exactly T+7 from June OPEX date. January OPEX date was Jan 27. Look at this one. This is Jan 27. That was the peak, right? Both AMC GME peak on Jan 27, right? What about this one? Let's look at the AMC May as well. AMC had also a June run, right? AMC May OPEX before June run. The May OPEX. Let's take a look at the May OPEX. May OPEX 2021 was May 21st. You exclude the holiday, so you count from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. exclude this one, and 1, 2, 7, right? So T plus 7, it picked the squeeze, right? The squeeze picked on AMC in 2021 June, from May to June. So I thought about this one. What is T plus 7 from yesterday, July 1st? Do you see anything? So I was like, okay, wait a minute. If 2021 they ran the squeeze from OPEX date to T plus 7 this year, and then when you think about the last year when the arcade came back, the rally finished on that OPEX week. So if you combine that 2021 cycle with the last year arcade cycle, and I want to talk about this one a little bit more detail today in my live stream. Why arcade came back, I want to also talk about that after this, but I just want to quickly touch this on, and I want you to think about this one. I'm not here to say, like some people might say, like, hey, you're wrong, and hey, I was right and I wasn't legend. That's the funny thing. And the funny thing is, people like to talk about, I think I rather want to be wrong than I will be right. You know what I mean? Because when I was right, no one talk about it, right? No one care if I made money. Okay? When I posted this one last year, no one care I made this much money. What people care about was if I was wrong. So this was my post back in May 10, right? Hey, like I've been talking about this. Oh, it's forming this, that. I'm seeing this and this and that. And then things blew up, right? I've been kind of seeing this comparison, like, oh, GME started to blowing up, oh, Sundial, AMC, all that shit. And then AMC blew up, and then had a 5,000% gain, and no one talk about it. People don't really care. Look at this thing, no one replied. No one give a shit about how much I make. People care. People like to just talk about when I got things wrong, and they like to talk shit about it. It's fine. It's funny stuff. Anyway, so just to go back to recap this one. So think about it. I'm not here to judge, or I'm not here to really trying to find that the perfect answer here. Nobody's perfect. I'm not a market maker. I'm not Ken Griffin's brothers or cousins or anything. If I know when the things kind of happen, I should work at a hedge fund. I should sitting around and try doing this kind of stuff. I should work at a hedge fund, or I should work at a Citadel or something. But I'm not. I'm here to figure out what they are trying to do, right? What they're trying to, I'm trying to solve the problem. I'm trying to solve their puzzles, right? I'm trying to, think about. I look at their daily actions. I compare it to Fractal. I look at the dates. I look at the historical data, and all I'm trying to figure out is what Ken is doing. I'm trying to think about, going to their mind. I think about their chart. I think about their dates. I think about what they've done before, and what they're going to create this year. That's what I'm trying to figure out. And when you think about that, imagine how much headache I'll get, right? So just be a little bit more mindful and just be patient with this one. I'm trying to solve this one, and you maybe some people are not. They're just looking for somebody to blame on, right? That's okay. That's human nature. People like to gossip. That's fine. But hey, I'm here to, do my work, do my homework. Not homework. I'm actually just doing it for myself or also for the people, but who are curious about this thing. But I just want you to know that um, I'm trying to figure out the Ken Griffin's brain. What he wants to, how he wants to run this thing, and that's the challenge. So from that point, I look at 2021 when the squeeze peaked, how the squeeze started. It looks like back in 2021 they ran this thing PT+7 after OPEX date, right? So it peaked on that date exactly in January, and also for AMC for June, right? Starting from January OPEX Gen 15, peak on Jan 27th, blew up 400%, 500%, right? Both AMC, GME, and May, AMC ran from AMC ran end of May to June, early June, and June peaked exactly on June 2nd, which is T+7 from May OPEX to May 21st, and that's the starting point for me. And when you think about last year, when RK came back, I think it was a test, and then RK came back, and then it created a gamma squeeze. I think this year is a special year that they're gonna combine this together. So from June OPEX, which is yesterday, when you count the date, so from this one, and also I'm gonna show you some of the data that Michael also post about the rebalancing stuff. There's ETF rebalancing, and I also want to talk about some other stuff, but I will start with this one. So starting from June OPEX, you add T+7, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's July 1st. I've been mentioning that it was never about emoji timeline. It was about the rapper Missy Elliott. Her birthday is July 1st. Possible rally expected between June 30th or July 1st, which align with the date. And there was a tinfoil, and of course people whatever they want, they believe whatever they. This is just tin, right? I'm not really just kind of tin guy. I know people who like to watch tins and stuff, but when I look at this back in June 19, I was expecting this. I look at AMC. I both look at AMC fractals and whole basket fractals. We're still waiting for this first dump, and you know what's interesting? There's a GME ETF rebalancing officially complete, and then with T+1 that will be Monday. All right. So Mike said ETFs are supposed to rebalancing today, which it was yesterday. I'm not sure. We are not seeing the fireworks with GME yet, but maybe it will be T+ also Monday. All right. So that's the Thump, right? So no way this is Roaring Kitty. Right before market close at 3:45 p.m., GameStop call options, 5,000 blocks of GME call options purchased right 15 minutes before market close. Do you think this is a joke? It's not. This is all, I think, set up. And this 5,000 contract for 2 weeks out, this is not a, I think, basically like somebody knows. Like if I know, like they should know, right? So it could be RK, I think. And I want to talk about why it could be RK, because $25 calls, 5,000 contract. Oh yeah, like this guy will make shitload of money here. And I think he might trade this one because 2 weeks out, basically, because I have a call options for $27, but if he purchased GameStop for $25 for 2 weeks out, and then this, I'm gonna show you fractals after. I'm gonna walk you guys through whole data. $25 here, so this thing I'm expecting to blow up to $28. He's gonna make about I think up to 500% or 1,000, not 1,000, maybe 500 or 7, maybe 500% gain. So with that money, he could exit after this, or he could buy a put option to also do this one too. So I think that's RK, and then I'll explain later after walk you guys through the whole data. But I just finished my thoughts on the on this one, which I'm seeing also here, right? So I'm gonna show you this one later after finish the whole thing. So where's the one that I was talking about here? One second. I think I closed the. Yeah, let's go back to my post here. I made a post, this one. So starting July 1st, right? We're entering a unique cycle, in my opinion, and I just told you why. And then when you go back to 2021 squeeze phase ended, the squeeze phase ended on exact T+7 from OPEX date. 2021 January OPEX was Jan 15. You add T+7 was Jan 27th, excluding holiday. So that was the peak of the squeeze. But right now, but also May for AMC, May OPEX was May 15. You add T+7, that's June 2nd, excluding holiday. That was the peak. So this year, June OPEX just ended. There's a ETF rebalancing. I just show you about the data. So if you add T+7, that lands on July 1st, which is if you like tinfoil, that's the Missy Elliott's birthday as well, which I expect a rally starting on, and the run could end on July OPEX, which what we saw last year back in May 24 when RK came back. So I think this is some sort of a now makes sense that instead of in 2021 they ran this thing and squeezed peak on the T+7 after OPEX. This year I think the run will begin after T+7 OPEX. Make sense? And then the rally ended on OPEX week of July. So they're now combined this together for this year, I think. Does it make sense? Isn't that interesting? If that actually happens, and when I go back and look at the chart, and I just show you there's ETF rebalancing, there's a 5,000 contract like RK kind of did back in April, that just comes in 2 weeks out. He had a $25 call options for GME for 2 weeks out. This thing will blow up at up to $28 next week, early next week. He's gonna make money, right? Like 5,000 contract is not a joke. Like he knows when this thing's gonna blow out. He's gonna trade it, and then July 1st. That's what I have it here exactly, right? That's when the rally begins, right? Big rally, right? And then when rally ended, also on that OPEX week, right? But don't get me wrong, this who knows, this might get delayed. But I'm just trying to say that I was thinking about the 2021. I was thinking about how the squeeze ended on the OPEX week, which was interesting because 2021 was ran after OPEX, right? But instead, the last year when RK came back, the ran finished on that OPEX week. This year, the ran begins T+7 after OPEX, I think, which is June OPEX plus T+7 is July 1st. And from July 1st, the rally goes until the July OPEX, like what happened last year. So this year is the combination between the 2021 and 2024. Very unique cycle, I think. So let's see if this is correct. Okay, so I just want to talk about that today because I just had this thought in my mind how this thing kind of lined up here. It's going to be very interesting. So that's the one thing that I wanted to cover up here. Yeah, there's ETF rebalancing. Yeah, this is very interesting. And then today I just want to quickly summarize what happened yesterday. I'm just gonna go through a whole basket of stocks. I'll start with GME here, and I found something interesting. I think I did find this fractals. yesterday, and then I applied to AMC, but AMC doesn't really apply. AMC is tracking exactly a GME May 24 last year. So AMC is gonna blow up. Of course, it's gonna go up next year. Sorry, not next year. Sorry, next week. For the first thumb wave, to create a first thumb wave. But when you look at GME fractal is very different. But the funny thing is, I think they're using this partial fractals from this year May 15 to 16. When you see this thing pop, they're using very similar to AMC for this first thumb wave. So I'm gonna show you this one now. So this is the fractals that are now, created, I think, in my opinion, and this is Bitcoin purchase. I don't have to walk you through the whole timeline here, but we are here, right? So after this thing bottom out, after the 2.4 billion private offering, the RSI, look at RSI here. I want you to pay attention to not the chart. Don't look at the chart, just look at RSI on the bottom. I want you to look at this one. I'm gonna change this one to 50 minutes. 1 second. I want you to pay attention to this blue box for a minute. Don't look at the chart. If you look at the chart, it's gonna make you crazy. Chart is just chart. So look at this one. I'm gonna just delete some of this. Okay, so after private offering ended, RSI oversold territory, right? It hit the bottom. It hit the bottom here, right? What happened was the price doesn't seem moving up a lot, but RSI moved it a lot, right? It looks very similar to this one. I brought this fractal because I'm looking for the first dump. I went back to AMC, and I remember seeing this similar fractals. I brought it up to GameStop. I look at RSI. I look at MACD. It looks very similar, right? I'm not saying we're gonna run like that, but I'm just saying that we could possibly see a big thumb wave next Monday. Okay, and then I'll show you here. So when you let's start with actually RSI. So look at RSI. You hit the bottom. This is AMC. This year May 15, May 16. Create this kind of thump. Look at this. June 12, hit this bottom after 2.4 billion offering. Like just go like that. But when you brought the fractals, it sort of matches, right? You zoom in. You put when this thing hit the bottom, right? Like that, and then you're now finally here. Now the RSI, you look at the purple, you look at the purple line. It goes up and down like that, right? It goes up like it's creating some sort of an arc. It also creating an arc here, right? Go up, just slightly, just come down a little bit, right? And then the funny thing is, this is a 1 hour chart. This thing is at 49 or 50 RSI level. Right now, this is 15-minute chart. This is about 47 or 48 level, 49 level. Very similar, right? The setup is very similar. Okay? So if this is correct, we're gonna see this thump, because that's what I'm expecting, right? This big thump. Also from AMC. AMC is tracking very similar to GameStop, right? Back in May. AMC, it looks like it's not really doing anything. It looks like shit, like, oh, what the fuck? Look at this. From here, it has a clean wedge, right? What happened after that? So what's going on right now? From here, you see how this candles pops up and come down? This is what exactly they did. It hit here, come up, come down. What's next fractal? Big dump. So they're doing this one. They already created a gap. So they're gonna do a gap up next week, early Monday. So something's gonna happen. So June 22nd, June 23rd or June 24th, but I think it will be June 23rd. So if you see that and AMC hit this much, then you know that this is first dump and this thing will come down and going for the second dump, third dump, heading into July 1st and start rally. And then, as I said, yesterday, June OPEX from T+7, right? June OPEX from T+7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is July 1st. So it's gonna kick up the rally, right? So instead this thing peak on OPEX week like last year or 2021, the peaks happen on T+7. I think this year they're gonna rally. So this year is different. So that's the thing I discover, and if I'm right, I'll make money from here, because I'm stacking up the July calls right now. And so if this year, so every year is, I think, different, right? Every year is different, right? I remember somebody mentioned that he interviewed for market making, right? And then he said he was his one of the interview question was, how are you gonna create a chart, right? How are you gonna create a chart based on the market environment, based on money flows, based on what's going on, right? That was one of the market making question and during his interview. And I thought about that. Okay, if I am market maker, how are you gonna create this? Is it? And I thought, okay, and there must be a date. There must be a specific date that they want to run, or I thought about that, right? I thought about it, and then, is it similar to 2021? No, we are not. We are not in the same market. The money is dried out. It's completely opposite. So 2021, the squeeze peak on the squeeze peak in T+7 after OPEX date, but this year and the last year, May 2024, the squeeze peak on that OPEX week, right? May OPEX week. So this year, I see the chart, I look at the fractals and be like, okay, so the huge June option chain is finished. ETF rebalancing is complete. Now what? I'm waiting for a first dump wave. A 5,000 contract just added like Arcade did before. So now what? First dump wave happens, and then going for the July 1st, right? So July 1st is T+7 for June OPEX week, right? June 20th. So if that's the case, this thing will rally like May run. I don't know if you understand what I mean. This is very special, I think, problem, and I think that's what I figured out, right? So last year May run, right? When you go back, right? Let's go back, right? I'm gonna actually, because I know people that who might not following what I said because there's too much information going on, and I'm just trying my best to really sort of explain in that, like explain in a way that everyone understands, even like 5 years old. So last year, this is last year. So you look at the date. So April OPEX week was over. So this thing blew. This last year was extremely fast. So last year, I think, and also this is the test, and I want to cover that one today too. So it finished on May 14, and then so basically the squeeze peaked on May 14. So if the gamma squeeze, this whole squeeze phase finished on that OPEX week, I think OPEX week was a mid-May or something, right? So they finished on Tuesday, so it finished before May OPEX week, and then they dumped it. I think the May 17 was the OPEX week, so they dumped it, right? So I think this was a test. And when you think about the same logic here, right? When you think about the same logic, what they created last year, and you apply it to July, what's gonna happen? We are actually here. We are not gonna to see a whole squeeze here. We're gonna see this run. We are right now here, so we're gonna see this B phase here, but it's bigger than last year. So you apply the same logic. So they're gonna pick on some month on OPEX week, but not the June OPEX. But June OPEX, T+7 from June OPEX lands on July 1st. And that's the run time. I think it's line up. And also, another thing is, in 2021, when you go back to GameStop, 2021, January OPEX. Okay, so let's go back to this one. Let's pull out the thing. Okay, no, I don't have to pull it. So January OPEX was Gen 17. So Gen 17, I think, was Gen 15. Sorry, Gen 15 was here. So T+7 was Gen 27, right? So this they top off on that date, Gen 27 or Gen 27. So this thing even blew up in Gen 28, but somewhere there. So the squeeze ended on T+7 after the Gen OPEX, but this year squeeze will start T+7 from OPEX week, which is June OPEX week, right? And the rally begins on this, and rally end on July OPEX. That's what I came to realize today, and I just wanted to share with you. And I hope this is right. And I know even if this is right, people don't like to talk about it, because people like to rather talking about how many times I got wrong. So maybe I should be a next Greg account. So that's kind of what I want to share today. Also, like not only just AMC and GameStop, I look at FFAI just to track the fractals as well, because you saw a 8,000% blow up when Arcade came back, and I realized that my FFAI might be included in the basket stock for some reason. I don't know why. So when you compare to this, and I'm gonna just kind of blow this up a little bit here. So I based on the fractals so far, I believe FFAI is tracking 2024 December. They specifically made this one, I think, for a reason. I think there's always a reason and purpose, and then I think they did that to test it, and they are now using it now. So they run this thing and come back, right? So they run this thing, come back down, right? They run it quite fast back then, right? And then they went up again the second time, went up again second time, and come back down. It basically matches exactly the same. After that, this the red box time, right? So went up, come down, right? Go up, come down. So it could complete the green and red box, both FFAI, right? So now we are in the yellow box, okay? But this yellow box is now much more stretched out, right? They're looking for the right maybe timing or something, I don't know, but that's what market makers decide to do. They decide to delay this thing. But what's interesting is next fractal is to gap up phase, just pop and come down. Even if FFAI has a completely different fractal compared to GameStop and AMC, it has a very similar, let's say when there's a gap up time, FFAI has also the gap up phase. That's very interesting, right? It has it line up here. So after this yellow box, that's a gap up phase, which I'm expecting the first dump wave, both GME and AMC, right? And FFAI also will follow, right? So when I look at this thing, zoom out for in 8 hours, because right now this whole fractals green to red box was quite fast. So I could look at it a little bit earlier, but now just to focus on the yellow fractals, they're dragging out. So I have to look at it much more further out. So I look at 6 hours or even 8 hours. You can actually compare to this one. So this green box, red box is complete. As you see, this thing come down, pop, come down, pop, like red box, and come down here, 46 level, 44 level, very similar. Come up again, right? Come up again as a yellow box, come down again, right? And it's about to go up again, right? So it's about to rally here. It's about to rally here. And then when I brought this fractals here, just partial fractals from this yellow box to where it picked in December, the gap up phase, interesting enough, after this thumb wave here, after this first big thump also in FFAI next week, the huge gap up will be created on July 2nd or 3rd, or anyway early July. I don't know, something's gonna happen. So I talk about this, how this thing could line up with T+7 from OPEX week. So June OPEX week, which is yesterday, plus T+7 is July 1st. Quite kind of match, right, with this one. So huge blow up. July OPEX, where's July OPEX? Sorry, not July, early July, blew up, right? Pull back, and blow up second time again, right? And it finished on July 15. Finish on July 15 or 16. So finish on July OPEX week. If this is right, people will make a lot of money here, right? So I hope this time we're in the what is it? Oh, Wiz reply here. Oh, yeah, this guy is also very good. He's very knowledgeable with the markets and the cycles. We are accused of GameStop AMC breakout cycle, nearly identical Jan and May 21 history. Rhyme again, July 1st ignite. Yes. Yeah. Yes, Wiz. Yes, we are there now. So fuck. Don't fuck this up, guys. Make sure you make a lot of money here. Don't fuck this up. This is I think this is like if you fuck this up, then like I don't know, you have to wait until 2027, because that's the bull run. So don't fuck this up, and I'm not gonna fuck this up. I hope I don't fuck it up. I'm gonna trade this one. I bet on calls for this run. I'm gonna bet puts on this one. I'm gonna do a both ways, up and down. I hope I don't fuck this up this time. If you do this way, let's say you make 100K, let's say this thing go down to like 50% or 40%. I remember I had a put options for GME just to test, because I know, because I remember I you know why I want to trade this one? Because I like trading, that's the fact. But the second part is a realization from my experience. Okay, so I want to just talk about this briefly. So I had a call options back in last year, and a lot of people don't know if I had a call options in AMC and GME last year, because they don't even like to know about it. But back in May, what I learned was, as I play call options, what I learned was, it's better to trade this one than, how do I say? I think it's better to trade this one than just holding calls, because you never know what will happen, right? So this is just based on my experience. So I want to take you to May again. Okay, so back in May, so where's May? I start to buy call, so I bought call options here, just some call options, and then it tanked it down. So my call option got destroyed like 90% from here to here, but I only had some. And I realized, wait a minute, because I was seeing this as 2021 March, right? I know that this March earning, they also tank it down very hard. So I knew that this thing will come back down and do this and something like that. But I didn't expect RK will come back in that phase. But that was the phase, right? 2024 March earning crash. And then when this thing has to go up, that's when RK came back. So he came back in the right cycle. So during this phase, when I had a call options here, fuck this one. This call I had back in here jump up nearly 2,000%, right? But this call options got destroyed. Like this whole 1,000% wiped out just by this pullback. Okay, so that's just kind of my experience, and then and I think if you trade options, I think it's we're not Roaring Kitty. You know what I mean? I'm not Roaring Kitty, so I'm a retail investor, and I want to make as much as money as possible, and I buy more shares after this. So when I had this calls and this thing went up 50%, and then my call options went up nearly 2,000%, right? Like 1,700, right? 1,700, right? So, and I had a $25 call option. So this thing didn't even touch $25, but it already went up that much, right? But after this peak, and it crashes about, it had a pullback about 20%. My call options got destroyed, like it's just like fucking, like not even completely wiped out though, but it's just from 1,700 it down to 500. Okay, and then I was like, oh shit, I could have sold some here. So that's something I learned, right? Lesson I learned from last year. So this year, if this year comes, this year is gonna be a bigger squeeze. If this goes up 200%, GameStop call option, like imagine how big it's gonna be, right? It's gonna be a massive. But at the same time, let's say, oh yeah, I'm gonna hold my call options. It's gonna go up. It's gonna go to the moon. And suddenly, it destroys 40%. Your call option get wiped out. Like let's say, like maybe 5,000% or whatever 1,000% down to like 500% or something like that. It could happen like that. So just be careful. And then I'm gonna continue to update though, but I think if this is a cycle they run, I rather want to trade this, especially this phase, because you make a lot of money just trade this too, go up and down, in my opinion, right? Because I remember I had some pull options just to test it, because I knew I knew this day it will come this year, and I wanted to practice the put option because I didn't have a put option back then that I didn't hedge. And now I start to think about, okay, maybe I should have a put options to hedge. So what I did back then here, there's a earning here, and they did some sort of what they did. I forgot what they did, but they did a dilution or offering or private offering. Oh yeah, they did a private offering. So back in March, my call went up about, I think, 300% or something. I don't know. Yeah, 300%. So when GameStop went up about 15% from earning, my call went up, I think, 300 or something percent, 500%. And after that, I had a put options, right? And then this thing dropped like 26%, and my call options went up 500 and 1,000%. Like I couldn't sell at 1,000, but 1,000 was the maximum. But I went up to 300, and I sold partially, and wait a little bit, and sold when it was 500% gain. So imagine that. Imagine there's a pullback about 30%, but let's say we had this much rally, and then imagine there's a pullback here about 40%. Imagine you made 100K here. Imagine you put about half of it. I'm just saying, don't follow this one. I'm just kind of talking about the scenario here. Let's say you make 100K, and then you maybe put half of it, come down, and then last time 30% downside, it had a gain up to a 500 to 1,000. If this drop up to 40%, and then depending on the speed, if they wrap it up, like let's say they do another private offering, like huge private offering, like, and then I think it's possible, huge, like something like offering again. This thing, let's say 5 billion offering or something, let's say they did a 2 billion offering here. Let's say they do a 5 to 10 billion offering here. Imagine that. This thing dropped like so fast that if you had a put option, it can go up to 500% or 1,000%, who knows, right? So that 550K can go up to like 500K or something, like even more, right? So I think I think this is extremely crucial place where like you could make a lot of money, and also you buy more shares here, and you buy shares and calls, right? And then you wait until this final short squeeze phase again. And you know how Greg talks about like hot dogs these days, and I think he put numbers something like 500 or something like that. And you know what's funny? This GameStop pick go up to 741 or something like that. That's very interesting too. So there's definitely setup here, but we are still here. So we're gonna see this. I'm expecting this big one here. I don't know yet, but possibly end of September, October. But like I said, if this is their tactic this year, that they wanna start run this thing after T+7 from OPEX week, and and then there's a September here, September OPEX, and so you think about September OPEX is when is September OPEX? September OPEX is, I think, 1 second. September OPEX should be the mid of September, so maybe September 8, maybe 19. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So September 30th. So maybe it could start to blow up this phase September 30th, and then maybe this phase, the squeeze can maybe finish October maybe October OPEX, something like that. But who knows? Maybe this partial fractal can drag out, right? And then maybe this thing can do this next year, January, right? Because RK mentioned about the, he's making a recall. So maybe he could create that, for January. Who knows? But we're going to talk about that later. But let's just focus on this one. And I'm hoping to see, hoping we're going to see a first dump wave next week. Come down, second, third, and then start to run early July, and then July peak on July OPEX, like that. So I hope this is helpful. Hope you guys make a lot of money in July. Don't fuck this up. And then yeah, let's make a lot of money here. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, once I think you know the calls that you have in July, I think once you once this thing blow up and stuff, I think there's gonna be a lot of millionaires, man. Seriously. Yeah. And then and imagine those people buy more shares. So basically, I think RK is kind of giving us, you know, education, right? He also posts about, you know, his you know, he's like a option 101 education, you know, meme post too. Like he wants to maybe share this one with you, with us, that maybe you know, not everyone should do this, but maybe it's a something that maybe retail investor who are interested in trading like the way he does, maybe this is a way to grow wealth, especially in this time where wealth transfer could happen. So hopefully this you know, is something that I'm watching, is you know, watching play out next week, and then starting also T+7 from June OPEX on July 1st, and then I'll kick up the run to July OPEX as what happened last year. So that's pretty much it, guys. So yeah, have a good weekend, and hope you guys see next video for the first Thump wave. All right, have a good one. Thank you. Bye.